Hello, and welcome to another episode of Houston. We have a podcast. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about buddy cop movies and some of our favorite movies, including Lethal Weapon, Rush Hour, Bad Boys, maybe a little Men in Black. So for today, we're going to be kind of talking about what is a buddy cop movie and maybe some examples of what may or may not be. We're going to be comparing Lethal Weapon versus Rush Hour as what is the best buddy cop franchise of all time. And then our guests here have picked their own buddy cop pairs that we're going to put through the buddy cop movie gauntlet. I guess. Yeah. And we will get into it. Our guest today, he selected Lando Calrissian in the first round of a Star Wars basketball draft. It's Dan.
Hello.
You did?
Glad to be back.
Yeah.
Yes. Best basketball player in Star Wars.
And then he
universe.
picked Mace Windu.
No, he kept
Very
Captain
interesting choices
Panaka.
Yeah, that's right. Captain Panaka. Fuck, why not?
And our second
Finn.
guest gave us a Wizard of Oz starring Lord. It's Aaron.
Hello.
Thanks for coming on, guys.
Welcome back from the
Yep.
first episode.
Thank you for having me again.
So before we get started with the main events, we'll do as we usually do, just a little round table on what have you guys seen recently that you want to recommend or talk about. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first. I volunteer as tribute. I'm going to try and make sure that this is the last zombie movie that I mentioned for a little while. But I recently watched The Cured on Netflix. Starring Ellen, well, she's not the star, but she's in it. Ellen Page.
Ellen DeGeneres.
Me too.
Oh,
I was like,
you would have
what?
sold that shit.
I forget who else is in that. It's not really anyone famous. It's a Scottish or Irish movie, I think, about it's the aftermath of a zombie outbreak where like 80% of the zombies have been cured, so they're like trying to reintegrate back into regular life, and it's like. And they're like rejected because like people have memories about what they did and stuff like that, and they're just trying to come to terms with regular life.
Who put this shit out?
Huh? I don't know. I don't know any details about it. It's actually a good movie though. It's a pretty good movie. And it's a little bit predictable. Like the second you hear a certain line or something mentioned, you'll know exactly how the movie ends. But it was still pretty good. Yeah.
Was it similar? There was a zombie movie that came out a year or two ago with a little girl who was a zombie. I think it was like the girl who knew too much or something like that.
The girl with all the gifts.
Yes. Was it similar to that?
It's not at all. Not similar. Like
Because I like that one.
Why'd you like it so much?
Huh?
Why'd you like
that
it so much?
Because it's like it hasn't. It was different from any zombie movie that I've seen before, and it was like very. It was like a different perspective of like the people that were zombies and now they're like rejected by society. It was like interesting.
So is it like the whole like outcast like
Yeah.
caste system, or is it
Yeah.
like lower level?
Yeah, like
citizens?
it's like these people like they were lawyers and like politicians and now they have to like be janitors and like everyone hates them and like
Oh fuck.
yeah, and then they get pushed, like they're like abused basically, and then
Sounds
I don't
like
want to.
Bright.
No, not even close at all. But can I just spoil it? No.
Nah.
Hey, okay, last one. What
I was-
were the visions and like memories that they were having? They were like,
Oh, they had like flashbacks too, and it was like.
like feral, like oh
Yeah,
my god,
like,
I am
and
just
they're-
gonna tear that. Fucking
Yeah,
ass,
they're talking
like,
about like, oh, I remember what I did to like my brother and stuff like that. It's like,
Oh,
fuck,
jeez.
yeah.
So
it's-
then this has like that heart element.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
Okay.
It's not like a silly
I'm about
like
it.
normally what I would watch.
You
It's
look
like some
silly
dumb
as shit.
So it's
dumb
very,
shit.
It's very drama,
Yeah.
like dramatic.
Yeah, it's very
serious.
character driven. It's a good movie.
Any like actors that we would know?
Just Ellen Page. I don't remember anyone else.
Gotcha.
A bunch of British
Interesting.
people.
It's just the last
British?
of us.
Yeah.
What about you two guys?
Sure, I'll go next. Yeah, I saw Bohemian Rhapsody, and
Nice.
I really liked it. I thought Rami Malek. I think that's how you say his name.
Yes.
Yeah, I thought he did a hell of a job as Freddie Mercury, and the performances were amazing. Everyone's acting was pretty well done. I'm not a huge Queen fan, but I highly respect them. And from what I heard, even the rest of the cast, even the rest of the people portraying the rest of the band members, apparently they looked even physically looked and then playing the instruments and stuff. They was just like bang on. So
They used the old band as like actual consultants.
Yeah,
for the movie,
two
right?
of the
Oh, I thought you
members
were-
I read.
I thought you were gonna say they used the actual band to play themselves.
Yeah, like they consulted on the movie and
Yeah,
stuff.
two of the I don't know which two. Oh yeah, I guess there's only two left. So yeah. Those two of the guys left. They did consult with
dope.
the actors.
I still haven't seen it. Like I really wanted to see it, but I just haven't had the time.
It's good.
I was telling you before this, I wasn't a huge fan. I was a little bit underwhelmed. But one thing I did love is seeing Michael Myers get work again. He's in the
he's like
movie,
their
and he's
manager.
actually in the trailer. And I was like, I did not know it was
I didn't
him
notice
in the
that.
trailer.
No,
Just like
I didn't-
Inglorious. Like I didn't. He just pops up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
That
I
too.
wouldn't have known it was Mike Myers without being told ahead of time that was him. So
Well, I think you kind of know it like when it's in the scene, but you don't know it like in the trailer. But yeah, I
don't
thought
know.
it was kind of funny because obviously he's known for Wayne's World, and Wayne's World has Bohemian Rhapsody on a big scene. So that
Well,
was
then that's
nice.
called
No,
bullshit.
I
Austin
wanna-
Powers.
I want to mention what his character does, but no spoilers. But yes, it's pretty.
Yeah, I didn't get to spoil mine, so you don't get to spoil yours.
Very well.
Aaron, how about yourself?
Yeah, so I saw a movie maybe a couple weeks ago called The Night Comes for Us. Comes from the same crew that put out the Raid series, Raid 1 and 2. So I believe it's the same director, and it's the leads from both 1 and 2, because in Raid 1 and 2 they changed the leads. Super gory, super action, set in Indonesia, also has some like Chinese elements to it. So we're talking about an ex-triad who is Indonesian, and he works for the triads, and he quits the triads. So they're always looking at him as an outsider, but he became like a corporal or something within the triads. And he had to leave because some fuck shit was going on. Like they started killing
Some fuck shit.
like villagers and children, and he's like, yo, I'm not about this. And then he goes back to his gang in Indonesia, and it's just the internal
Just regular
quarrel.
good old robbing.
Yeah,
people.
like no, it's straight up-
Wholesome gangware.
it's really cool because you see like how their mob is like triads and Indonesian mobs versus the low level grunts, and just how they do their crime and shit like that. It's really interesting. But what got me is just obviously all the nuts, action, and gore. Like you see people's legs getting sawed off. And
Oh, fuck.
That sounds amazing.
the coolest part of this is I felt like the Raid 1 and 2 was all the action sequences are focused on one person, like one lead fighting 50 people. But in The Night Comes for Us, there are sequences where it's 2 or 3 people fighting as a team against like a swarm of people, which gets really dope because they all have their own like little special abilities or their own proficiencies.
So we could call this a buddy gangster.
Yeah, kind of. It's so hard to like compare it to anything. Like I was saying, it's like John Woo meets like Ong Bak type stuff. So heavy into gun violence and the whole mob shit. But then you have a lot of like martial arts sequences, and they're really, really done well. Like you feel your bones breaking.
Dan is demonstrating right now
Yeah,
to the people at home.
Yeah.
Yeah, I loved Raid 1 and 2, so I'm definitely going to check that out because the action was super great in those.
Yeah.
Oh man.
One that I saw recently was The Crimes of Grindelwald, Fantastic Beasts 2. I actually really liked the first Fantastic Beasts. I thought it was one of the better examples of how you make another movie in an existing franchise because
So
it was
a spin-off.
yeah, like a spin-off. But it was a self-contained story with good characters, and it didn't rely on all the references. Because I mean, I've talked about this enough on this podcast. I fucking hate references. But the first one was good. This one was basically just a long episode of Game of Thrones where there's 7 plot lines and none of them get resolved. And I was like, at the end, I was like, why did I watch this? There was no story here. So I pumped Fantastic Beasts 1 a lot. I don't recommend this one at all.
I was actually a little disappointed by the first one, but the second one I heard not
it was mixed.
good. Yeah.
Like maybe that's for both of them.
People are comparing this Fantastic Beasts to the Star Wars prequels. I wouldn't go that far. Like, it's
Wait,
not
what's
terrible.
Star Wars prequels? What are you talking about?
Only the best Star Wars movies to ever exist.
Okay, let's jump into buddy cop movies now. First segment, Paolo is going to be running, so take it away.
What's up, everybody? It's Paolo, your co-host here. I have put together compiled, if you will, a list of certain movies. They may be buddy cop movies. They may not be. But to get into the spirit of this episode, we're going to have a little lively discussion on whether these should be classified as buddy cop movies. I have a few curveballs in here. I have a few softballs to just get us started. For example, like it's not going to be as easy as you have your Rush Hours, your Bad Boys 1, Bad Boys 2, Point Break. Was that a buddy cop? No, I don't know. I didn't even watch that one.
Dan is still dancing.
Dan
Getting pumped. Dancing.
Yeah. So to kick it off, let's try 21 Jump Street.
Yes.
Right?
I would say yes. Yeah.
I think it's safe to assume that one is a buddy cop movie. How about... Okay, have you guys seen 16 Blocks with Bruce Willis and Mos Def? Yeah, I know you have.
Yeah.
Oh boy, no.
That was something I was going to talk about with the segment of there's a difference between is it a buddy cop movie and is it a good buddy cop movie? Because I would say sure, but it's not a good one.
Are we gonna get into a definition, or or is that after?
It's going to be our
it's gonna be
definition.
fluid?
We're gonna
work through
We're going
it.
to build into.
We're gonna build it. All right, let's do it.
So 16. Wait. So you think 60? You feel like 16 Blocks can be classified as a buddy cop movie?
I feel like you could justify it, but I would describe it as a poor attempt at a buddy cop movie because I feel like it's and this is one thing that I'll probably bring up a few times in this episode is a lot of the times what you see in bad buddy cop movies is you get almost like The Odd Couple, where here's two people that let's put together that don't like each other and don't want to be together. But if you look at the really good examples, like there needs to be something that connects them. Like they both want the same end goal. They both maybe have a different approach of getting there. And I feel like that one was more Odd Couple.
Wait, we're talking about the same movie though, right?
Maybe not.
Okay, so like for the listeners as well, 16 Blocks is about Bruce Willis. He's like he's the Murtaugh type cop.
So he's the by the book kind of.
Not really. He's
More
just
like-
like he's a
oh,
veteran.
he's the
He's
veteran.
like,
He's the
I'm
old
just
guy.
waiting to retire.
Oh, okay.
And he has to transport this witness, Mos Def. He's
Famous rapper to all those who do not know.
I wasn't trying to explain who Mos Def was, but in the movie, Mos Def is like a witness. He witnessed like some cops, like some dirty cops,
Most definitely.
commit a murder.
His name is. IMDb says his name is Yassine Bey.
Yassine Bey. Yeah.
Yassine Bey.
Anyways,
Yassine.
enough about Mos Def, but Bruce Willis has to transport this witness who's like he's a regular, not like a regular kid, but he's gotten mixed up in things, sure, like he's from the wrong side of the tracks, I guess, and it's like dirty cops are trying to kill Mos Def, and it's like up to this it's up to Bruce Willis to save his ass, even though he doesn't really want to.
Yeah.
But is that what you were thinking of, Carson?
I might have been thinking of a different one.
Attack the block.
I don't think both characters need to be a cop for it to be a buddy cop movie.
So they both don't need to be cops.
I would
This is
argue
the first
no.
part of the definition.
This is the first point of contention that I feel
Oh,
like
I
we
see.
were going to.
Okay.
But wait a minute. Isn't the name of the genre buddy and cop?
But
they could be buddies.
I
They
think
could just be buddies by
if
the
there
end.
was a reason why I would argue that that's not a buddy cop movie is I feel like they need to be working together to solve something. And this one, they're just kind of on the run. And
Yeah.
so I
Well-
would be okay with one of them not being a cop if they were still doing detective type things or there was a
Alright.
bad guy they had to take
Yeah.
down together.
All
Well,
right,
how about this
that's
then?
fair.
Well, how about a cop and a criminal informant?
Because that's pretty much what 16
yeah,
Blocks is.
that's essentially.
Yeah,
what
as
it
long
is.
as Carson makes a
So
good point.
they're
If
working
they're doing
for-
that,
Okay.
Yeah.
So it doesn't strictly have to be buddy and cop.
no, I was being a bit facetious there, but yes, I agree with
Well,
Carson.
I know, but it's like a.
But now
valid
that I'm
argument.
remembering
yeah.
this movie more, I'm going to change my opinion that it's not for that reason I just stated of like, they're just on the run.
Okay.
They're not.
So this is not.
I mean, their motivation.
I really don't
but-
remember this movie.
similar
Well,
motivation.
I mean,
yeah,
no,
like
their
it's-
motivation at the end, by the end, is like you have to get to testify so we can take down these dirty cops. So like they do have a goal, like that's the whole driving force of them having to.
And
Do
there's,
you
there's
think after? Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, is there humor in this too? Because I don't know.
Not really.
This was
It's-
what I
it's
was
not a
gonna get into. Is that this is part of the genre too? But maybe we can.
Oh yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, there should be a bit of
But
humor.
one of the kind of acid tests I would give for that movie is after the events of this movie, do you feel like those people continue to be friends?
Well, at the end of the movie, Mos Def his character is like actually a baker, and he talks about how his dream is to like open his own bakery. So he sends Bruce Willis after his retirement like
Some
cake
bread
from his new bakery to show like he made it. So
He's alive.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert. He
Oh
lives.
wait, they make it by the way. But yeah. So like I mean they have a working relationship, not working, even less than that. They're like acquaintances, I guess.
Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah, is that?
I'm gonna say no.
So Carson
I'm
says
still
no.
saying yes. I still.
Aaron
say
says yes.
Yeah.
I don't know. I never saw this movie, so
But from what you know,
from what I've been hearing, also no, because of what Carson was saying.
okay. So let me direct this one towards Carson first. I'm gonna have one for each of you. So how about Speed? Would you count that as a buddy cop movie?
Like Sandra Bullock.
Sandra Bullock,
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think
No.
Keanu is definitely the main character.
Yeah.
And I feel like in a buddy cop movie they have to be equally weighted. And I would say,
I don't know.
despite the fact that they're both
Equal?
cops, right?
Sandra Bullock is in the climax.
But
In more no.
no, I'm gonna stick with no because I feel like Keanu Reeves kind of steals the screen a little bit. Even in Rush Hour, where it's really about Jackie Chan, like Chris Tucker's enough of a character where he makes it equally weighted, whereas Sandra Bullock seems like more of a character that is more like a character foil to make Keanu be the one who actually goes through the plot.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
So
I'd
she's
say
like
no.
a side
She's-
character plus.
She's not a real foil to him. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like she's
Is
not.
she in Speed 2? I never watched it, but
I never
She
saw
is.
She is, but it's not Keanu.
It's not Keanu. It's
Yeah.
a different guy. Yeah.
But and also, I would say that with Speed, or sorry, am I able
Yeah.
to
No.
comment too?
Like everyone can.
Okay, I would also say that there isn't the requisite humor. They're not.
So
they're
they
not.
have
they're
to
not
be funny?
Well, some of the time. Not. It can
There's
still be
comedic
serious.
elements,
There needs
I guess, yeah.
Exactly. That's the phrase. Yeah. Comedic elements, and they're not. They're not joshing around with each other. It's a serious action movie.
They do a little bit. They do some quipping.
I don't know. I don't think that counts.
Okay.
No, I think it does count because the whole elements of buddy cop is that they have quips amongst each other, and you know, like
Yeah,
especially the idea of two cops that don't like each other initially. That's all it's about. It's about that tension. You know
So
what I mean? That comes off comedic.
Okay. So, but okay. How about Okay, for everyone, I'm gonna open it back up to everyone. Well, it was open the whole time, but how about The Negotiator with
I don't remember that.
Samuel
Oh,
L.
I love that
Jackson
movie.
and
Yeah.
Kevin Spacey.
Spacey.
God rest his soul.
He's dead to us.
Yeah.
It's true.
He's dead to
You mean
society
burn
apparently.
in hell?
Yeah, so basically Samuel L. Jackson, he's a cop. He's a negotiator. He's framed for a murder of one of his colleagues, and he like holds up in a police building. And Kevin Spacey is the other negotiator brought in that Samuel L. Jackson demands to like negotiate the like.
So
the
it's two
terms.
negotiators negotiating.
Yeah,
Yeah.
They're both cops,
But what makes that a buddy film though?
huh?
Are they
I mean,
working? I've never seen this movie.
They-
Because it sounds like they're working against each other.
So okay, it fulfills like a lot of the points that you guys mentioned. They at the beginning they don't like each other because obviously they're like
different sides.
yeah they're directly facing each other versus each other.
So they're adversaries.
They're
Yeah.
that's what the word I was looking
This
for.
is why we have this guy.
I like drinking.
Vocabulary.
There's random words come out, guys.
So yeah, at the beginning and then by the end there, I'm assuming that like the end movie ends when everything's resolved, so you don't see if they
Yes.
become friends or not. But they work together by the end to take down the actual dirty cops.
Yeah, you know.
What's another movie like that? I feel like that's
Okay.
a common thing. They start off as enemies and they figure out, hey,
Yeah.
you guys are playing on the
Like
wrong team.
I'm tempted to also like you're saying you think the negotiators it does fulfill buddy cop, or you
That's what
I
we're
mean-
here to argue.
well
I'll tell you my answer. What
Oh.
I think after you.
okay
guys
because I was gonna say
hash it out.
I'm tempted to say that it is a buddy cop, but it doesn't have enough humor. In fact, that movie has like no humor.
I don't think
Really.
that humor is as important.
I think it is.
Like, I think
I think it should be an element.
Okay.
I think the what
But,
do you call
okay.
it? The comedic element.
Yeah.
I think it should
I-
be an element.
Were you gonna say something?
One thing I'd say about buddy cop movies is I feel like there should be continuity. It's if people are forced to be together for a certain scenario and then at the end of the movie they don't be friends, then I would say they're not really buddy cops. Whereas I feel like in a true buddy cop movie, you can make 4 or 5 movies in a franchise because these guys are going on adventures all the time.
Gotcha.
You know,
That's a good
Riggs and Murtaugh are walking down the street, and then somebody's randomly shooting like a armored car because that's just shit that happens to buddy cops, and then they got to do like more shit.
Yeah.
So if they don't end up friends at the end, then
If we can't see them being friends and having there being sequels.
Yeah, if there's
Yeah.
no chance for sequel.
No, like if you can't
I think
picture that,
that's fair.
They have to go on a vacation to Hong Kong at the end.
Okay, then
or to New
Square
York,
Madison
because I've
Garden.
always wanted to go to New York. Right?
okay, so there's
Madison Square Garden.
2 every day Square Madden.
It's begun.
Okay, so then there's 2 different roads that I want to explore here from this last point. So the first one is, how about which one was it? Ride Along, because there's a sequel. They're not friends at the end. Like Ice Cube still hates Kevin Hart.
No, but I think that's the epitome of like buddy
Of a
cop.
buddy cop movie?
I think so. Yeah.
But like, because even by the end of I don't really
It's a
remember the
love
second one.
hatred though, because he's still family at the end of the day. You have some family that you hate, but like, you know that you still love them.
I love all my family.
No, like
Yeah.
I hate that fuck, but you know, like you're still family. And that's the feeling I got at the end of both ride-alongs. Like, yeah, he's marrying into Ice Cube's
Yeah,
like
and
family.
but he still hates
He
not
still hates him, but like he'll have him around, and you know, like he's still hooking him up with the whole career as becoming a cop. So you doing that, essentially, you're a buddy.
I guess. Does that qualify it for you, Dan and Carson?
I haven't seen either of them,
Neither
but
have
from
I.
what I've seen in the trailers, I would agree that's a buddy cop movie. Despite the
It's
fact
like
that they're not,
archetype of buddy
Yeah,
cop.
Like-
because that's
they're in a situation where they're trapped together, so they're going to continue to be together.
yeah.
So yeah,
But but even by the end, they're not trying to be together. They're just stuck together, and they still don't. Well, Kevin Hart likes.
but here's the thing: if they weren't forced to be together, could you see them at least hanging out anyway? Like, say there was Ride Along 3, and they get divorced.
I can see it. I can see it happening. Like
Yeah.
them,
I mean,
them interacting in the pre.
I don't know
like that.
if they got. Oh, sorry. If Kevin Hart got divorced, I don't even know their characters' names. If Kevin Hart's character gets divorced to Ice Cube's sister, I don't see it's
No.
gonna be so hard to explain any reason for them to still be
So
together.
still
That
think
doesn't
so.
sound buddy cop.
No,
then.
because throughout both movies, you see that Kevin Hart has all these random competencies that they can essentially use in the future. Like he grew up as a gamer, so he's
So he
huge.
knows guns?
He knows guns. No, and he's a really really advanced wheelman. Like you see that in the movie where he takes the car and he does some crazy shit that essentially Ice Cube couldn't do. So I can see that potentially happening. Say, hey, we need your expertise on this. We can recruit you for that.
Okay. Wait, so what's the consensus on Ride Along? I think it's mostly yes, except for Dan said no, I think.
I mostly defer to Aaron because he's actually seen it.
I've seen them, yeah.
Yeah, I have to defer.
But
to
I
I'll
love
agree
Chris
as
corny ass
well.
buddy films.
Yeah. Okay. So this one directing back towards Dan.
Yes, sir.
How about Die Hard with a Vengeance? Because that one's funny.
Yes, that is definitely a buddy cop movie.
Definitely a buddy
That's
cop
two,
movie.
right?
No, that's
three.
the
No,
third
that's
one.
that's
Okay.
three.
But Samuel L.
Sammy
Jackson.
J.
Samuel L. Jackson in no capacity is a police officer.
Yeah, not even close.
Yeah. He's.
But yes.
I don't
But
think
nothing
they're
happens
friends after.
Yeah. So I don't think.
I don't know. At the very end,
Samuel L. Jackson it never appears in any capacity.
that doesn't mean
Dude.
that they're not friends.
Yeah, this is making me rethink my definitions because John McClane is in 2 movies ahead of time, so it's like he's definitely the more weighted character.
Yeah.
But just watching Die Hard 3, I would say, yeah, that's a buddy cop movie. Even though he's not in the 2 before, he's not in the 2 after.
Yeah, and they're working they're completely working together the whole. They're stuck together. They definitely hate each other the first time.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
of how they meet.
Yeah.
Um.
This is one that was set in New York, and like it's
Yeah.
like it's on like a hot ass summer day in like New York.
Yeah.
That's the setting.
It's where the relative of the bad guy
Hans
in Die Hard
Gruber.
1.
Okay,
Yes.
yeah. Okay.
And he gets John McClane to wear that sign at the beginning
sandwich
and walk
board.
through
Yeah,
the sandwich
yeah.
board and walk
I
through
hate
Harlem.
N-word.
Yes.
It's weird. I only remember the first.
You don't
and the
remember
fourth
that?
one for some
I don't
reason.
the one version, the TBS version or whatever, they edited it to say something else.
Really?
Yeah, it said "I hate everyone" instead.
Oh,
Seriously,
yeah!
yeah.
I thought it would
So
be
maybe that's why I
I thought
don't
it was gonna
remember
be
it.
fucked up. Like I don't like no-gooders or some shit like
No,
that.
it was like I hate everyone. It was terrible.
Did you guys hear? Apparently, the writer of Shrek got like he's been hated on because he used the N-word on Twitter
What?
Really?
because he was saying to use the term anti-vaxxer is equivalent to using the N-word.
Oh, that's what he tweeted?
Because he's an anti-vaxxer.
Oh, jeez.
Anyway, side.
Yeah, okay. But, wait, so then what's the consensus on Die Hard with a Vengeance?
Yes.
Yes.
I'd say
Yes?
yes. Yeah.
So they don't have to be caught. Wait, did we
No,
already
they
establish
don't. They
that?
don't have to have like a relationship after the movie.
They don't have to have a relationship.
But I
after
think
the
it is core for them to be working together, like in an almost detective sense.
Yeah.
To solve something going on.
Yes, they're both working towards the same goal. Both trying to stop the bad guy.
Okay.
Okay,
So-
how about this? Well, how about movies that don't even have one cop, but it's two people trying to solve like.
So how about
What was the
something.
new one with the cast of Workaholics?
Oh yeah. Game Over, man.
Yeah, would you consider that almost a buddy cop?
I would.
No.
I would.
I would say
would-
yeah.
I would just consider that like a straight comedy because like
Comedy
there's
action.
comedy action because there's
But they do act like
There aren't
detectives,
even any-
though. You know what I mean? Like they do try to foil a plan. Like I think that's important too.
I mean, it's very much the plot of Die Hard,
yeah.
which helps that. But no, I would consider that.
okay
buddy cop.
on that note. How about Let's Be Cops? So it's
Yes.
Jake Johnson and who's the other guy?
The son of Damon Wayans.
He's a Wayans.
Yeah,
brother?
yeah.
Wayans.
Okay, so these two guys pretend to be cops
I think so.
and they
I
just
like that movie.
abuse their power for 2 hours.
This is a stupid fucking movie.
I know it's a really dumb movie.
I would say that's real borderline. I could go either way.
It's a long stretch for me, but I'd say yes. Like 5% of me says yes.
So is that the only reason? Because they pretend to be cops?
Because
I haven't seen
so
this movie.
there's one. I think there's a point where they they're going to a costume party, and then they dress up as cops, and then like people think they're actually cops, so then they start abusing their power, and
So
then
they
they're
start
like,
doing
"Oh my
fuck
god,
shit."
this is awesome! We should do this all the time," and then they start doing it, and then they get caught up in some some actual criminal activity. And
Oh,
start,
so
like,
they do
trying to
actually
solve
sort
it.
of save the day, but at the end.
Kind of.
It's
I mean,
weird. Okay,
they
so
save the day by like ending up in the criminal's like building, and then the real cops
what's
come.
his name again? The one that isn't a Wayne.
Jake Johnson.
Yeah. So his character ends up taking it a little too far. So that's the dynamic where he kind of actually wants to go this full blown. Like he actually
Yeah.
buys a fucking used cop car. He buys like a cop uniform and all this kind of shit. Pulls his buddy over and he's freaking out. Blah blah blah. So like he takes it really far. And the Wayne was kind of just roped into it. That was actually
The Wien.
The Wien. He actually gets roped into the entire situation because of his buddy. So that's it's a stretch.
Okay, so but you say yes,
I
right?
say
It
yes.
sounds okay. So I haven't seen this, but it sounds, according to our definition, it
And neither of them are cops.
sounds like it would qualify.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd say yes.
Okay. Let's try and push it a little bit. I'm gonna slowly, like gradually, try and push
I
the
thought we already
boundary.
were. Holy smokes.
Okay. I think let's say 2 more.
Okay.
How about Shanghai Nights?
Yes.
I would say yes, but it's a bad one.
I'd put that right up to Rush Hour. It was like the same
Same dynamic.
Yeah, the same
Just
dynamic.
the only thing is that neither of them are cops either.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I don't think they need to be cops, but I feel like it was. First of all, the action was definitely not as good as Rush Hour.
No.
It was not shot by like Jackie Chan wasn't choreographing it with his crew.
Yeah.
Shanghai Nights was good though because Donnie Yen was in it. I liked that one better. The second one.
Oh yeah.
I would say 100% definitely a buddy cop movie, but not a huge fan of it in my books.
Okay. Wait, Dan. Shanghai Nights.
No idea.
Wait, have you not seen it?
No, I haven't even seen it.
Oh my! Have you seen Shanghai Noon?
Owen
No.
Wilson and Jackie
Owen
Chan.
Wilson and Jackie Chan.
No,
Oh my
no, I
god!
haven't.
Okay.
John Wayne.
I wasn't
Sean
John
Wayne.
Wayne.
I wasn't gonna say anything, but
You look very uncomfortable over there.
I'm like, what the
So I
fuck
had
is
to like
going
call
on?
on you.
Apparently.
Okay, how about Keanu? So it's Key and Peele,
Key and Peele.
and they're trying to rescue their kitten from like mobsters.
Again, it's another movie I don't like.
But I feel like it fulfills all of our criteria.
But I would easily
Minus the
not
fact that-
call that a buddy cop movie. I would just call it a
I
comedy.
would agree that based on what we've talked about, it fulfills all the criteria, but there's still something in my mind that says
That's
no.
missing, yeah.
And
Yeah,
I'm trying to
exactly.
figure out what is that
See,
criteria that I'm not
that's
saying.
why that's like, because we all of the criteria are normal, but I think we are missing something that I think there has to be some sort of cop element in there.
Yeah.
Like, because we're going a little too far. Where like Shanghai Nights, I wouldn't even call that one a buddy cop movie.
Maybe it has to be their job, regardless of whether they're a police officer, but it's like,
Yeah.
this is a thing they're doing all the time, and now they're being forced to do it with someone else who has a different approach to it.
It's like out of their comfort zone type thing.
Well, they're being forced to go out of their comfort zone based on who their partner is, but
Yes.
they're still doing their job. It's
Yeah.
very like, this is my 9 to 5. I have, a family outside of it, but it's like, this is who I am with my career.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just, here's one situation that I've been thrust into, because
Yeah.
in Keanu, those guys are not like that all the time. They've been forced into it because of what happened.
Okay.
I see.
So does that apply to Shanghai Nights as well?
What are their... No, I feel like they're like authorities, aren't they?
No.
Jackie Chan is kind of.
He's
a royal
from the
guard.
Forbidden City.
He's a royal guard. Like, I think that's some sort of
Yeah.
authoritative figure.
I would
I-
take Royal Guard, yeah.
Royal Guard counts, I
Yeah.
guess. Okay.
Yeah,
Because
over Let's Be
But then
Cops,
Owen
like-
Wilson is completely an outlaw. Like he's a.
So
I don't
think of
know.
him as like a criminal informant.
No,
It's a stretch.
Actually,
It's
no.
a
That,
huge
actually, no.
stretch.
That I can. Okay, I can buy that. Okay.
Sorry,
ahead,
last
go ahead,
question.
go
How
ahead.
about this? Would you consider something like Sherlock Holmes a buddy cop?
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't think so.
I would
Why?
say yes.
Because I don't think that they're equally weighted characters.
They.
That's a good
well,
point.
Because we're talking about two people, yeah, they do share the same screen time.
Which
but
Sherlock?
The Robert Downey.
I would say that one is more of a buddy cop than the Benedict Cumberbatch one.
But that's a TV show,
True.
which we don't recognize.
What is
But-
TV?
Also, the Robert Downey Jr. Sherlock is not very Sherlock-esque.
Yeah, it's not like Benedict Cumberbatch is 100% Sherlock, but like
and that one's not a buddy cop
yeah
theme
but-
at all.
No, but I still don't think that the Robert Downey.
I would have to disagree with that one because it's their job. I think they're weighted enough, like closely enough
Also,
to qualify.
we have this like weird superior complex where Sherlock kind of talks down to Watson and shit like that.
Not
you
so
know?
much in the Jude Law Robert Downey Jr. one.
Yeah,
Okay.
that-
They're much more equal in that one.
Okay, but yeah, so
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying, right? Like you have one person who's clearly way more like official, who has a lot more,
Intellectual prowess. And
who has more
that sort of-
responsibility, I guess.
Oh, and all, yeah.
Well,
Calls all
I think the
shots.
balance
Calls all
on
shots.
that one is good because like he's Robert Downey Jr.'s character as Sherlock is also like self-destructive, and then Jude Law
Gotcha.
keeps
Okay,
him
so
grounded.
he's the
so,
supportive.
like
yeah.
I feel like if they really wanted to make that a good
Good
buddy
save,
cop,
yo.
if it was a good buddy cop dynamic, Robert Downey Jr. would not have been as good as fighting as they made him. Because like that's kind of why Watson is around, is he's like the muscle.
Yeah.
But they made Sherlock pretty much like a superhero. So
Yeah, they kind of fucked it up. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, last one to end it off. I think we've got it kind of nailed down. I don't know, but to stretch the boundary a little bit more, Training Day.
not funny enough.
Interesting.
Not funny enough.
Like,
I
it
think it's
has
pretty
humor.
funny.
It has humor, but it's
We've been laughing at this movie for the last 15 years, man.
no. I think there's too much hate between those two guys. They
Oh,
never become buddies.
They never right exactly. By the end, could we see them in a sequel together?
Well,
Oh wait,
it's-
he's dead.
I feel like it's the reverse of a buddy cop in the sense that they start off as partners and they end off as
Boom.
enemies.
Boom.
So is
I
there like an
that.
anti-buddy cop?
Enemy cop.
just fucking enemies?
adversary
I guess.
cop movie?
Because we were talking about this a couple days ago, and I was just like, I don't know. Like, I was 100% saying yes, but after this discussion, I
Yeah.
don't think it classifies as
Yeah,
as a
I
buddy
agree.
cop anymore.
It's not.
Just because the dynamic
Wait.
isn't.
The
Oh,
more,
sorry.
the better example would be, what's the David Ayer one?
End
with
of watch.
End of Watch. That one, I think, is a better example. Like, if you're going with the Training Day model, it's more of a buddy cop than Training Day, but it's very serious. It's more
Yeah.
grounded. But I would still not consider it buddy cop because there's no humor.
What's End of Watch again? It sounds
It's the
familiar.
found footage one with Jake Gyllenhaal and Michael Pena.
Okay, yeah, okay. Yeah.
Mind you, there is another movie that came out last year called War on Everyone with Michael Pena and Alex Skarsgård,
Oh, I haven't
which is
seen that.
definitely a buddy cop movie and really funny for anyone watching.
Okay. Wait, sorry. I just thought of a
So Training Day is no.
I'm gonna say no.
It's a hard no.
I'm gonna say no.
But sorry.
But
okay.
I was changed. I initially thought yes, 100% yes.
Okay, then on that note, so leading from there, really last one, 7.
No.
No, because
It's a horror movie. Like. I saw that. I was looking up lists of buddy cop movies, and somebody put 7 in there. I was
Yeah,
like,
I saw the
what?
same list, I think.
Oh, okay. I didn't look at lists. I just
Like, they are cops. They are buddies. But
I mean, they're probably
somebody
not
has
buddies
a head in
after.
a box. Too many heads in boxes for that to be a buddy
Yeah.
cop movie.
All right, cool. Well, I think the main criteria, they have to have a mutual goal, some capacity of, or like their job has to be some sort of law enforcement or whatever.
Yeah.
Not necessarily law enforcement, but like that theme, that vibe.
The idea of two dynamics, you can either be friendly or you can start off with tension.
Yeah, start off with tension and then end up friendly. Well, that was a must-have.
Or you're just friends and the same dynamic is like consistent throughout the movie.
Yeah,
Alright.
same dynamic.
So if anyone out there was wondering what a buddy cop movie was, we have
You're more confused
we have a word.
now than when we started.
Yeah, not that anyone was ever wondering that, but hey, what's next?
So we are now going to have me and Dan's rendition of a scene with Riggs and Murtaugh. So this is a scene from Lethal Weapon 1. It's kind of just after Riggs and Murtaugh have met each other and they're kind of chatting in the garage for the first time.
Garage.
All right, so we will...
Hold on.
Commence.
I gotta get the camera out for this one.
Oh no!
I missed Carson's Nicolas Cage monologue, and I won't miss this one.
we're on the
right.
wrong side, but anyway.
You guys ready?
Oh yeah, you want to switch sides?
No.
All right, fine.
There are those who say you're a good cop.
I try.
I heard about the little stunt yesterday. Pretty heroic. I pulled your file. Said you worked in the Phoenix Project in Vietnam. That right?
Uh-huh.
Assassination stuff. It's over, you know.
What is?
The war.
Yes, I know.
Just thought I'd remind you. That's some serious shit you carry.
Be my guest.
9mm Beretta. Takes 15 in the mag, 1 up the pipe. Wide ejection port. No feed jams.
What you got in there?
4-inch Smith.
Ah, a 6-shooter, huh? A lot of old timers carry those.
File also said you're heavy into martial arts, Tai Chi and all that killer stuff. Suppose we have to register you as a lethal weapon.
Slams door. Hey, look, friend. Let's just cut the shit. Now, we both know why I was transferred. Everyone thinks I'm suicidal, in which case I'm fucked, and nobody wants to work with me. Or think I'm faking to draw psycho pension, in which case I'm fucked, and nobody wants to work with me. Basically, I'm fucked.
Guess what?
What?
I don't want to work with you.
Then don't.
Ain't got no choice. Looks like we both fucked.
Terrific.
God hates me. That's what it is.
Hate 'em back. Works for me.
That was awesome, guys. I fucking loved it. Both the voices. Oh, man.
Thank you, Rarson and Mert Dan.
Dan.
Oh, no, wait,
Dan.
I
Murdan.
reversed
I'm
it.
definitely Murtaugh.
Yeah, I know. I fucked that up.
Yeah, you did.
Mertson. Kartaw.
Jumping off
Diggs.
of the
Diggs.
lethal weapon intro we just did, we're now going to talk about what I assume are number 1 and number 2 for most people when it comes to buddy cop movies, or franchises with Lethal Weapon and Rush Hour. I don't know if, like, we're going to take stances at the end of this of which one we like more, but I think we can probably all agree that both of these are pretty solid.
And if you disagree, we can fight.
Yeah, like right now.
Like, right now.
Okay, so first, before we go into which one's better, just want to talk about each of these franchises on their own. So first one to talk about is Lethal Weapon from 1987 to 1998. Who wants to start off? Dan, I know you're a big fan of the franchise. How about you? Tell us why you like this franchise so much.
Sure. I like it mainly because the two mains have such a strong chemistry. Riggs and Murtaugh are fantastic foils for each other, and it starts, has all the normal formula that we discussed. So it starts off, they hate each other, they're totally different, and by the end of it, they they learn to respect each other. They start becoming buddies, and I would say they kind of learn a bit from each other, and sort of embrace kind of the best of both worlds, or at least them as a pair.
And one thing I really loved in rewatching these movies was just the cleverness of the script that Shane Black wrote for the first 4 movies. And one thing it really made me miss about that you don't see in a lot of movies these days is subtlety. For example, in
Started the arguments already, are we?
no, this is I'm not even the arguing
talking
against
about Rush Hour.
Rush Hour is all about subtlety. What do you
But-
mean?
So here's an example. In Lethal Weapon 2, there's an ongoing thing that's with Murtaugh's wife's station wagon. And it just slowly gets beaten up throughout the movie where it's like somebody falls in the windshield here, the door gets knocked off here, and it doesn't it's not a scene that takes you out of the movie like BB-8 riding an AT-ST in The Last Jedi. It's just
not in
it's
your
just a
face.
thing that happens. Or in Lethal Weapon 1 where they just met each other, they're working to each other. This is before the famous roof jump scene where Murtaugh's giving him some advice, and then Riggs says, Roger. And Murtaugh says, what? Because Murtaugh's first name is Roger. And he's like, 10-4.
10-4.
And it's just like little things like that don't bring the movie to a halt and keeps it going. I feel like Lethal Weapon is just littered with all those, and it's one of the better scripts that are written kind of in a franchise throughout.
It's definitely a more mature and clever movie versus Rush Hour.
Actually, don't get me started. Hold on.
Okay.
Oh, we're
Full
already
disclosure:
comparing them.
Rush
We're
Hour
already-
2 is in my top 5 movies of all time, just because of what it means to me. So that's
Yeah.
a huge bias on my end. But I'll admit that fucking Lethal Weapon is definitely a lot more mature of a movie.
It's way more grounded. We're kind of already getting ahead of, or we're already comparing them. I guess that's
Well,
okay.
no,
Okay,
just
no, we won't
finish
get into
your
it.
7
but
minutes.
One of the things I liked about the beginning of Rush Hour, and it's really weird, but
Rush
the first
Hour or
time you
Lethal
see
Weapon?
both of them, they are shirtless, which I know this is a weird point, but it's you first meet Murtaugh, he's in the tub, and then his family comes in to celebrate
I was
Richard's
gonna
birthday.
mention that too.
And then the next, which is weird, which in Lethal Weapon 4 they make up for it because they do the same thing, and his wife puts a towel over it, which I'm like, you should have done that in the first one too. But then the next scene, you see Riggs in
in
his
bed,
trailer,
completely
with a cigarette.
Oh yeah, you
sleeping.
see his butt.
But it goes back to something you see in
looking
the
for his
entire
dick.
franchise of you see why they're similar, you see why they're different. Because you see Murtaugh surrounded by family he loves in a nice house, and then you see Riggs in a shitty trailer. But you see them kind of both starting morning of the day
Parallels.
shirtless.
Yeah.
So it's there's just a lot of those that you see why they're different, and they constantly, even when they're friends, their differences come up. But you also understand why they would be friends, and you can believe, yeah, these people, Riggs is even almost living out of Murtaugh's house at certain points in the franchise, and you're like, yeah, I can see them being friends. And I think that's something that a lot of buddy cop franchises get bad. I think of R.I.P.D. as a bad example of this, where it's just like, let's take two people who hate each other and force them to be together. But that's not the buddy cop formula. It's more than that. They have to be more complex than that.
I think you brought up a really good point. So in the first Lethal Weapon, just talking about how they work on their chemistry, I think the best example is when Riggs has dinner for the first time at Murtaugh's house.
Yeah.
And you kind of see that they're slowly starting to like each other, and Murtaugh is just like, you know what, just live, don't kill someone tomorrow, and then I'll give you a little bit of a break. Then you kind of see the walls breaking down, and their chemistry just building just from that small moment. And it's super subtle, but I think it's a huge pivotal moment in the relationship. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Is that's also when they're on the boat, right?
Yeah. Same
So
thing.
that's the kind of character development scenes, like the bit of drama, and obviously there's humor that they throw in there. That's what I that's what I really
it
like
even
about
got to the point where Riggs is leaving Murtaugh's house, and he's just like, "I love your wife's
Yes.
cooking," and then Murtaugh's like, "Do
no,
you really like my wife's cooking?" No.
And he's like,
And
no.
he goes straight into talking shit about his wife's cooking.
like, man, that's what
But-
friends do. You
yeah.
know what I mean? Like that's
and
that's
Murtaugh
exactly what
Murtaugh
friends
just
do.
smiles at him. Murtaugh's like,
yeah.
"Oh, great, a guy who's actually willing to admit."
Yeah, like he's not full of shit. Like
Yeah.
he's 100% genuine with what he's saying. You know what I mean?
And I also give him credit for doing something after that initial, because the first movie's easy. You take two people who aren't similar, you put them together, there's comedic scenes.
Yeah.
But you look at Lethal Weapon 4, and Murtaugh's about to become a grandpa, Riggs is about to become a father, and they have that thing where it's like, this is what's bringing them together, and they're both going about it in different ways.
Yeah.
And it's like they actually took that thing, like everyone can do the first movie, but they progressed on it, and I give them credit for that.
It didn't fall apart after
Yeah.
the first one or even two movies.
Man, I feel like we're just gonna shit on Rush Hour.
No,
We're gonna shit on Rush Hour 3, but not 1 and 2.
And that's like
Except
Rush,
Young.
Lethal Weapon 3 was probably the weakest of the Lethal Weapon franchise, but it wasn't terrible.
Third one is always the weakest.
But then why was the fourth one good?
It's,
Well,
Jet Li
he
was
just
in
he
it.
just mentioned
Oh
maybe.
yeah.
Yeah, Jet Li.
I forgot about that. I just remember Joe Pesci and fucking Chris Rock.
yeah, Joe Pesci's the one thing I really didn't like about
Yeah,
Lethal
the
Weapon 2,
second
3,
one?
and 4.
That was the in your face like.
Really? But then he did his job.
He did,
He-
like,
he was
there's
Joe Pesci.
always that annoying character, and it's like,
Yes.
there's been worse ones of those, because I thought it was funny because it gave them something to hate on.
Yeah.
And there was funny moments created by them hating
Because
on
they
him.
were getting along too well,
Yeah.
so they
Yeah.
needed someone to yell at.
But
to
it
say,
was
"Shut
so-
up! Shut up, Leo!"
You look at, like, and we'll talk about this in the Rush Hour segment, but Carter in Rush Hour, he's supposed to be the annoying character, but you still like him. Whereas, like, Joe Pesci, there's nothing really to
Yeah,
like
I'm
about
kind
him.
of just annoyed of him the entire
Yeah.
time. I just see fucking Home Alone whenever I see Joe Pesci. I see that fucking sticky bandit.
But I think one of the other things that I can give
Wet
Lethal Weapon
bandits.
credit for is it knew when to be silly as well. Like, it was a lot less silly than some of the other buddy cop franchises like Rush Hour, Men in Black, Bad Boys. But you could still have the ending of Lethal Weapon 1 with Mel Gibson doing a shirtless water fight on a lawn surrounded by surrounded by cops with Gary Busey. So it's like it knew when to have that 80s machismo cheesiness.
Yeah.
Man, that scene was so badass.
Badass?
I don't know if that's what I was going to
I was gonna say
Badass.
bad.
No, that
It
scene's
was just
great.
ass, man.
The cops only back then would the cops sit by and like say, "All right, these two guys, they gotta fucking go."
Yeah, like
And
even
there-
like Murtaugh is like, everyone stay out of this.
Yeah.
All the cops.
He needs it. He needs this.
Let them fight in front of my house and my family.
You would never be able to
my
make Lethal
lawn.
Weapon these days because there was so much like unnecessary property damage, and like they make fun of the psychologist every episode, and it's like mental health has become a thing where you can't do that anymore.
There's also an interesting line where Riggs says,
I watched the TV show, guys.
"Oh, you do?" Well,
I do.
Interesting. Maybe you can comment on that in a minute. But speaking of that, Carson, at one point Riggs says that he's putting out the fire, and he goes, "What do you?" And Murtaugh's putting out the fire on Riggs's like jacket.
Yeah.
And then Riggs says, "What are you, a fag?"
Oh yeah,
And I just when I
No,
saw
like
that,
the
I was
PC
like,
shit is out the
"Whoa,
window."
that wouldn't fly."
But it's funny you
nowadays.
said that about mental health and stuff, because I know this is irrelevant, but in the TV show, it's actually a huge thing because they talk about Riggs's actual mental
PTSD?
health. Yeah,
Or-
PTSD,
Yeah.
and that was a huge like topic on it, and this what is it, the therapist, psychiatrist, I guess, like she plays a huge role in it because she deems if Riggs is able to actually get out into the field, you know what I mean?
Fit for duty type
Yeah,
thing.
fit for duty. Yeah, because like he's definitely depressed. You know what I mean? Like his suicidal tendencies and all that kind of shit. So like,
I like that aspect too in Lethal Weapon 1.
yeah, because
the
it
whole
has,
suicidal-
It has the whole
The hollow point bullet that he kept
Yeah.
pulling out.
And then he gave it to Murtaugh.
He gave it to
after.
Murtaugh.
So sweet.
They're good buddies.
Okay, let's shift gears and let's talk about Rush Hour, which I know you guys are both passionate about. So
Super passionate.
But FYI, we just love the outtakes. Like I think 90% of my love of this movie is the outtakes.
You know what? Okay, so after rewatching Rush Hour 1, so I'm going to focus on Rush Hour 1 first. Like, I don't think it gets enough credit about for how clever that one actually is. Because
I wouldn't use clever.
no,
but-
it actually is. There's like so many. So Carson talked about subtlety before, but like there's a lot of moments where okay, for example, when all the FBI is in the consul's house or consul,
Yep.
And then Chris Tucker is like he's going off on one of his rants, and then he's like, I'm gonna call someone like my boss or something, tell him about G14 classified or something like that.
Yeah.
So he's walking over to the phone, and it rings right as he's about
As
to
he
pick
picks it up, and
As he
it's the
picks it
bad
up.
guy
And it's
calling.
the bad guy. He's like, hello, who's this? and then that's how he ends up like negotiating with the bad guys.
That's like clever.
To
That
the-
was a coincidence. That was
No,
No, but like
I agree with Paolo.
that's subtle. Like that's funny moment that they don't beat you over the head with it. Like,
yeah, it's a plausible
like
a plausible
this
thing that would happen.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
then
yeah, yeah, okay,
that's how
okay.
it like furders the
I
plot.
actually liked-
and it's funny.
I actually liked Rush Hour 1 better than 2. Actually, and maybe
I
this
agree.
is the
I like it.
unpopular.
It's tough,
Oh,
yeah.
you agree? All right.
Because Rush Hour, so Rush Hour 1, it had all of that, like the whole character of like bringing them together. Like it was the
East meets
epitome.
West. It was the definition of East meets West.
It was the epitome of buddy cop. It was like
Literally, yeah.
like
Yeah.
they don't like each other at first. Well, for one reason, Jackie Chan doesn't even speak to him. And then and they're like actually like fighting, and then by the end they're like, not only, it's not just like we've gone through this shit so we're friends now, like they find like common ground, like they're talking about their dads and stuff.
Yeah.
And like, and their whole approach to police work and everything, and then they actually become buddies. And then in Rush Hour 2, it continues, but it's not like, it's not.
They don't have quite the same character moments in
In the
2.
second
I
one,
think,
yeah.
Like the main character moment in 1 that I can remember is when before they go into the restaurant and then he teaches them
Yeah.
how to dance, like
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
dancing, and then
or
and
like
then,
how to disarm.
I was just gonna say right, so
Yeah.
that they both learn something from the other.
Yeah.
They both are inspired by the other, and I
It's
think
not
that's a
you
big...
all, it's y'all.
And they kind of continue that in Rush Hour 2, though.
Yeah,
because
it's
they-
mostly just like the friction between them, like their personalities.
Yeah,
but
they
it's
bring
still,
out the same old like I didn't like Jackie Chan says I did say that, and then Carter says
said-
no you didn't.
I
and
said
this is-
boom,
did.
boom.
Yeah, I said boom, boom. But that's the gag that they just reuse.
Yeah.
In number 2.
Yeah.
In
the
number 1, that's a
mispronunciation,
new.
Like that's a
Well,
common
yeah. I
thing
mean,
too,
so
right?
like Rush Hour 1 was the perfect base for Rush Hour 2, and then Rush Hour 2 they just played off that to like it's you liked this, so we're gonna
Yeah.
give you this.
No,
for the
not
whole
to say
movie.
that 2's bad.
It's
In fact,
not bad.
neither of
It's
them are
just,
bad
it's
at
fun
all.
to watch. It's entertaining.
fun movies.
It's funny.
Yeah.
And it's not cheap funny. Like for a comedy, like if you think about comedies, like
sometimes I don't know. Like sometimes I thought that it was a little bit too
whose
much.
side are you on, man?
No, he's just being
okay.
honest.
Like I thought that the cheesy shit was like the Detective You, like that kind of shit.
That's why we're not talking about Rush Hour 3.
no, even in general.
I want
like,
to talk about Rush Hour 3.
like all the shit about Jackie fucking pronouncing shit like differently and stuff, and
Yeah.
and Chris Tucker interpreting it wrong. Like I thought that was just overdone the entire.
Wait,
movie.
for which one?
In Rush Hour 2, yeah, he's trying to speak Chinese.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
You know
yeah,
what I
yeah.
mean? Like it
That's
like,
the bloopers, though.
I know.
No, that's like in the movie. It's
Yeah,
like Chris
no.
Tucker's trying to speak Chinese and then he always gets it wrong.
No, oh,
Yeah, he's-
in
he's
the
got the
beginning.
little
He wants them to
He's
get naked
trying
and
to-
sacrifice a goat.
Yeah. Okay, sure.
I think Rush Hour 1 and 2 flow so well together that you could almost watch that as a 4-hour movie and it
Yeah.
would work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
they're playing off the same jokes they do in the first one and it works so well.
Yeah.
But Rush Hour 3,
No one talks about that fucking movie.
Look,
I never did
Oh,
watch it,
so-
to be honest.
we all
I-
make
I-
mistakes, you know.
we probably all agree it's not a good movie, but there are some hilariously bad written moments. Like when they're in the hotel and Jackie Chan's like, let's order a dirty movie.
I know.
And it's like, who wrote this
It's
movie?
like completely out of character.
but it's
just-
the same person who wrote Rush Hour 2.
But like, okay, what I think happened there is just like it's been so long. Let's do a Rush Hour 3. Let's have some
What was
fun.
the time between 2 and 3?
It's at
So
least
it
like
was-
5 years.
Yeah.
So,
I'm
okay,
thinking minimum
context for
5.
this. The difference between Lethal Weapon 4 and Rush Hour 1 was 2 months. They came out same summer together.
Yeah.
But then Lethal Weapon 3 to Lethal Weapon 4 was about, I think, 8 years. And then Rush Hour 2 to Rush Hour 3 was also about 6 years or 7 years. So it was a while after.
Yeah.
It was after it was done being...
I mean-
Shaking off the cobwebs.
No, that's not it. Like I compare it to if you ever watched Whose Line Is It Anyway? So like
Love that movie. Or love that show.
yeah, so like the back when Whose Line Is It Anyway, the American version first started, it was like good, and then when it came back, it was kind of like weird. It was like kind of the same but not really, and it was just like not.
They were trying to
as
force
good.
it.
They were trying to force it, and that's how I see Rush Hour 3 versus Rush Hour 1 and 2. And also the point where like it's in Whose Line Is It Anyway, when it came back, it's like all these old guys kind of being like perverted a little bit, like being gross,
Yeah.
and then it's like Chris Tucker fawning over Soo Young, like
That
Soo
was
Young,
weird.
so young.
Yo, she is so young.
Yeah, like just Rush Hour 3. We don't claim that.
Damn, he won't be in Rush Hour 3.
But my point, like Rush Hour 1 and 2 are actually they're very good movies. They're fun to watch and they're funny.
They're
They had
fun.
random cool characters like Don Cheadle was jokes and
Yeah.
Don
Rush Hour
Cheadle was
2.
great.
And
I love
I
that.
stand by the humor not being cheap, especially compared to a lot of comedies nowadays. There's the odd moment where you like, oh, sacrifice a camel with shave your butt type stuff. But like throughout the whole movie, you're bound to have
Yeah,
at
yeah,
least like
yeah.
one or two of those.
Yeah, that's true. It was.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say it was the light. So Rush Hour is like the light version of a buddy cop,
Yeah.
and Lethal Weapon is more of the
But I-
down to
Grit.
earth.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
you know.
But I mean, like,
Gritty.
when we're talking about the actual buddy cop criteria, if we want to go into that, I think Rush Hour fulfills that completely.
Oh, it does. Absolutely.
Also, I think we're talking about two different audiences too, though.
Yeah.
Like the people who go see Lethal Weapon aren't necessarily the same people who are going to see Rush Hour.
Well,
I
Rush Hour.
disagree.
I think Rush Hour is a lot more family friendly. Like it's a lot more flagpole-y than Lethal Weapon.
So I guess this is transitioning into the Lethal Weapon versus Rush Hour conversation, but I binged these all together, and it was really interesting to go from, like, first of all, Lethal Weapon 1, which is a much more dramatic movie, and then they just get really silly. And I feel like Lethal Weapon 4 is when Shane Black really figured out what the buddy cop formula was, because you have that combination of drama and the comedy kind of blending together, and then Rush Hour started there. And it's a much more, like, the pace is much... It flows a lot easier. It's a lot easier to watch. It's much more action oriented, which I think is both a plus and a minus because, yes, you get easier to watch, better action, funner movie, but you don't get those character moments that Lethal Weapon 1 was, like the Lethal Weapon had. An example of this is you never see where Lee or Carter live. And maybe it's a tiny point, but like when I'm watching a movie about a cop, I want to see where they live because I
Yeah.
want to see how shitty their apartment is because it's like I'm not a cop for the glory. Cop is my job.
Yeah. You
I'm
want to see where
doing
they
it for
hang up their
minimum
hat?
wage.
I'm
Yeah.
in for it. I'm in it for the job. Yeah.
I get that.
I care
You don't
I
get
fuck with that.
enough of those in Rush Hour, but you still get enough to know what their characters are. You do understand who they are, but it's like it doesn't slow down enough. The movies are very much like they probably take place over a short amount of time.
Oh, like a couple days?
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
A week at most.
I think it's like it's Rush Hour 1 and 2 are definitely way more plot driven than character driven. Like they have those moments, like
Yeah, Lethal
small
Weapon
bits.
is super character driven.
Yeah, but like they have the small moments of character in Rush Hour 1, but it's not like it's enough to give you the idea, like this is who they are, and then let's get back to like having fun.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
and then I guess after Rush Hour 1, they just said fuck character development altogether, just because like they've established the characters. There's really no other new information that
They
they're
did
gonna...
a little bit in Rush Hour 2. Like they tied in what's his name? Ricky
Chan.
That's one
Ricky
of the
Chan.
points of
Yeah,
Rush
okay,
Hour
okay,
is
okay.
every movie is about Jackie Chan's side. You never really have a bad guy that's because of Chris Tucker's side.
That's true.
Yeah.
I think because well
interesting.
that was just like a purely business thing where like that was Jackie Chan's foray into American cinema.
Also, it's like based on their jobs, like he's tied to like royalty in China, and Chris Tucker's a beat cop. Like he was a traffic cop. You know what I mean? So it makes a little bit more sense that all of the tension and all of the plot leads towards Jackie's shit.
I mean, Jackie Chan is the main character. Like I think between the two.
No, Rush Hour is definitely just a Hong Kong action movie with Chris Tucker along for the ride.
Yeah.
But he plays that character so well that it's not just the comic relief character; it's a legitimate main character.
Yeah.
So,
I agree.
but yeah, the action in the Rush Hour movies are incomparably better than in Lethal Weapon.
Murtaugh's old.
They're
ass.
newer movies, okay?
Murtaugh's too old for that shit, man.
I'm too old for this shit. He says the word shit like I don't know how many times. He's like,
He says that phrase at least like 6 times every
Yes.
movie.
No, he only says it like once a movie. Because I
He
remember
said
when
it at least 3 times in Lethal Weapon 1 because I just watched it this morning again.
Really?
Yeah.
All right,
only
let's
remember it the
let's
one
meet in the
time.
middle and say twice.
Okay, fine.
I only
he
only
says-
heard it once.
He says the word shit though a lot. He like when like you know when Riggs and Leo are falling out and the bad guy are going out and they fall into the pool and he's
Yeah.
like shit and he says shit a
I
lot.
do appreciate that Lethal Weapon's an R-rated movie. Because
Yeah.
no one will ever make Lethal Weapon these days.
No.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
You wouldn't be able
It's
to.
it's a relic of the past.
Also, I want to. Sorry, I have like food in my mouth, but I want to make a point.
Chew your food. Chew your food, sir.
I do want to shout out Lethal Weapon for even though there's not as much action, there are like some really good moments that it doesn't require like a huge choreographed action scene or like a car chase or anything. Like the point where Murtaugh's on the toilet with the toilet
With
bomb.
the bomb.
Yeah, that was a pretty cool scene, and it's him sitting on the toilet. I enjoyed that concept. It was pretty cool.
Which kind of shouts back to last episode when I talked about The Predator. And the reasons why I actually kind of liked it, despite the fact that everyone thinks it's the worst movie ever, which I kind of understand. But like Shane Black, he knows how to write a really clever script. Like he can take a moment of people sitting in a car and it's entertaining. Like it's well written. And like I feel like the writing in Lethal Weapon is to those franchises what the Jackie Chan choreographed action scenes are to the Rush Hour franchises. It's like they both have their same pull, even though they both have elements of both.
That's fair.
That's super fair.
But so to be transparent here, we came into this episode with me thinking I was on the Lethal Weapon side. I rewatched all of them, and it's like I feel like it's really hard to compare. Like they're
They both
such
have their
different.
They're
movies.
very
it's so
different.
Yeah.
Like I love Lethal Weapon, I love Rush Hour. They're both great, but you can't say one is better.
Which
or
is
worse than
hilarious
the others.
because in my head I thought you were gonna shit on Rush Hour the entire time.
So did I.
Rush Hour is also a very clever movie. Like it's
Yeah,
well done,
It
it's
is
subtle.
I'm
it
gonna
has
stand
a-
by that till the day I die.
Like it has its purpose.
Yeah.
100%.
And you know what? Similar to Carson, I went into this thinking that, oh yeah, 100%, I'm all over. I'm gonna be all pro Lethal Weapon, and I'm not gonna like Rush Hour.
Yeah.
But I actually watched Rush Hour first, mainly because I thought to myself, I just want to get this over with. but I actually ended up enjoying them because at
It's
the end of the
light,
day,
it's fun.
It's light, it's fun, it's entertaining. Yes. So I also feel like they're very different. One's on the super silly side of the body cop spectrum, which is of course Rush Hour, and then Lethal Weapon's a bit more on the grounded, dramatic side.
Yeah.
So that's a pretty.
I think I'll be the asshole and say that I actually went rewatching. Well, I think it might have been the first time I watched Lethal Weapon, the first one. I actually wasn't. I didn't as enjoy it as much as I thought I would. I mean,
It's different from the.
I think it's like just sign of the times, I guess. Also, like, I don't know. It's just like even with the character stuff, there were some points, like especially with Mel Gibson being crazy. It's like I'm gonna be crazy now.
At one point he does the fucking like Three Stooges like the
Yeah.
I was like, what is going on?
Shoot me! Shoot me!
What
Yeah.
the fuck?
dude, that scene's great though.
Mel Gibson's
I love
a
that
much better action hero than I remember him being. He has that thing where Tom Cruise in movies, you just see Tom Cruise running, and he runs really well. Mel Gibson also
Got a
has
good
that,
run.
where it's like you see Mel Gibson running, and you're like, yeah, something like shit's going down.
I just love fucking Mel Gibson's hair in Lethal Weapon. Like the Jerry curl or whatever the fuck he's doing. That was dope.
I don't.
I don't think
like-
it's a Jerry curl, but
It's like
It's
halfway
like
to a mullet.
perm. It's like
it's a mullet. It's just a straight mullet. Anyway, I was gonna end that segment saying we had found common ground, but you fucked it up. So
Hey!
we will move on to the second scene reenactment of
Oh,
our
wait.
episode. Right as Paolo shoves food right into his mouth. So we're gonna have to delay a little bit. Dan, do you have any last comments on what do you guys think of Men in Black and where it fits into that argument?
I think it's on the wild, crazy, goofy side.
Yeah,
like I think it's even a lot crazier than Rush Hour was.
I wouldn't say a lot.
Just because
crazier.
you're throwing in aliens and like just that element itself
It's
is just so
definitely
wild and crazy.
It's definitely more on the silly
Yeah.
side. Like
Like
it's,
I wouldn't
it's more
consider
like
it
Rush
gritty
Hour.
at all.
It's more like Rush Hour than it is like Lethal Weapon, of course.
Yeah.
Okay, do you guys want to introduce your scene here?
Go for it, Aaron.
All right, so this scene is from Bad Boys 2. This is when Marcus and Mike Lowry meet the dude that is dating Marcus's daughter. All right.
Yes. Hold on. To get in the spirit.
Can you zoom this anymore?
PSA, it's going to
can.
get really offensive.
Yeah. We don't normally talk like this, I swear.
I can also bleep stuff out if you guys need
Yeah?
to. Maybe.
No, I think we should.
No, I won't go
I
that
think we
far.
should be fine.
We will censor ourselves. So Carson will be playing the part of Reggie. Aaron will be Marcus, and Paolo, will be Mike Lowry.
Of course,
You guys have
yo,
mentioned this is
the
from Bad
good-looking
Boys.
god.
From Bad Boys 2.
Yeah, Bad Boys 2.
That's not as important.
I did say that.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so let's start this shit. All right, we're getting old, Mike. One of them young punks coming to take my baby out on her first date. Who the fuck are you?
Hi, Mr. Burnett. I'm Reggie.
What are you doing here?
I came to take out Megan.
What?
I came to take out Megan.
How old are you?
I'm 15, Mr. Burnett.
Motherfucker, you look 30. Show me some ID.
I don't have none on me.
You don't have no ID? Get your ass up on this wall.
That's you, Aaron.
What's your problem? You think you know it all, little young Thundercats? You got joints on you?
No.
You smoke that shit?
No, sir.
Trying to get my daughter high? You smoke that shit?
Who that is at the door?
I'm Reggie.
Who the fuck is Reggie?
Came to take Megan out.
Wait, I think I screwed it up. What you want?
I'm here to take his daughter out.
What's your name?
Reggie.
I heard the motherfucker say your name Reggie. Taking Meg now. How old is you?
15.
Shit, boy, you at least 30.
This is Mike. Can you fight?
Yeah.
You can fight, motherfucker. You can't fight. Look at you. Somebody taking my knee. Oh, yeah, what? Somebody taking my niece out. I want to know if he can fight. Somebody might say something. The boy can't fight. She can't go.
Is that my line?
Yes, that's you.
This is Megan's godfather, okay? He just got out the joint.
Man, why are you putting all my business out on the street? I just got out of jail and I ain't going back.
They call him.
I ain't going back. What's wrong with you? You scared? You ain't never seen a gun before?
Look, don't disrespect me in front of this company.
That was me. That was my line.
Stop pointing the gun at the boy.
You a big, tall, ludicrous looking motherfucker, ain't you? You rap?
No.
Hey, Mike.
Now, move, bitch. Get out the way. If I see you on the highway, stay the fuck out of my way.
Get out the way.
Now it's you, Aaron.
This is the longest scene.
Now listen.
Now listen. Have my daughter home at 11:59. If she ain't home at 11:59, I'm in the car, okay? Locked, loaded, and hunting your motherfucking ass down. Do you hear me? Speak up.
And I'll go with him. And if I'm there, you know what it'll be? Chitty, 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 bang, bang. That's what it's gonna be. Marcus, Reggie, baby, I'm so sorry. Forgive Megan's dad and his silly friend.
That was great, guys. That was awesome. But you know, I think you guys missed a few lines, though.
100%.
Just saying.
Just a few.
we need my cue person, you know?
I was giving Aaron stage directions.
All right, we are going to go into our final segment of the evening. But before that, pop quiz, assholes.
Oh shit!
For, a very quick segment. So I have 6 names on a piece of paper here. I'm going to give each of you 2. And when I say the name to you, I want you to partner them up with a buddy cop, the perfect buddy cop for this person. I don't want to hear your rationale. I don't want to hear your thought process. Give me a name, the first one that pops into your head. Do you guys understand?
So each of us get 2 people?
I'll go in order.
Yes.
So, I just want a name back. Ideally, it won't take longer than 5 seconds.
It can be anyone.
Can be anyone.
All right.
Okay, ready? Felipe Roche, a.k.a. Jean Reno from Godzilla 98.
R2D2.
Rose from The Last Jedi.
Spider-Man.
Ferris Bueller.
Lando Calrissian.
Oh my god.
Hermione Granger.
Ron Weasley. Wait, can I change that one?
Nope. Drax.
Agent Carter.
Cassian Andor.
Captain Panake, or whatever his name was.
Tanaka.
Panaka.
Okay, moving on. Our last
There's nothing else about this. This
Our
is
last
awesome.
segment of the evening,
Never
you guys
mentioned
have
again.
each selected your perfect buddy cop pair that we are going to put through the obstacles that we usually have for buddy cop movies. Usually, when we do this type of pick your own crew type thing, it's about how effective they are. This one is not about how effective they are. It is based on how entertaining the story is. Extra points are going to be given for creativity and how well you align to existing buddy cop movie tropes. So again, it's not just about accomplishing the task, it's about the journey along the way. So
Oh boy.
before I go, you'll have 4 stages, and essentially you'll have 5 minutes for each stage. There's not going to be turns, it's just going to be open floor. Once you guys know the scenario, talk about what your team would be doing, why you're better than other teams. Probably more on like what your teams are doing. But before we do that, I'll just have you guys quickly tell me who you picked and a very basic rationale for why you picked those people. We'll go this way around. So, Dan, how about you go first?
All right, so I've got Khal Drogo and
What?
Aquaman.
What?
All right. Both played by Jason Momoa, of course.
Is it like a clumps thing where they?
Yeah, an Eddie Murphy type of fucking thing.
No, they just jump dimensions. They are in the
So this shit's in a
they've
green
teamed
screening.
up. They've teamed up. Of course, Khal Drogo, analogous to Murtaugh and Detective Lee. He's the calculating, stern, badass fighter, but he follows his own code of ethics, and ultimately he does want
stuff?
justice and the betterment of his people. And I would maintain that if transported to the 21st century, he would make the perfect cop. And on the other hand, we've got Aquaman, who is, of course, the Martin Riggs, James Carter type. He's also a badass fighter, but, pretty laid back. He's impulsive. He's sardonic. And as a superhero, he can also be expected to do the noble thing. And his vastly different personal style provides the perfect foil to Drogo's stern temperament. So, that's why they fit good together.
Interesting.
Aaron, who'd you pick?
Goddamn, I didn't pick that. So I went with good old John McClane and Tom Holland as Spider-Man. So the way that I thought of this whole thing, it's going to be post Civil War and superheroes.
Civil War.
No, post Civil Marvel Civil War.
I thought you meant American Civil War.
I don't know shit about
John
that, yo.
McClane.
Red
Which
Dead.
movie, John Clean, are you picking?
I do declare.
Okay, yeah, so that's very important. It's gonna be the John McClane from the fourth one with Justin Long. What was the name of that movie again?
Live Free or Die Hard.
Yeah, so
What?
he's-
That
The
one?
worst one.
What?
Hold on. There's a rationale. So it's because I'm getting the
Father,
hard
son.
vet version of John McClane, where he's kind of the older person in the dynamic. In my idea, this is going to be post Civil War, and superheroes are now integrated into the police. So now they're getting partnered up with actual cops. You have John McClane getting partnered up with this rookie Tom Holland, and now it's the same kind of dynamic of old vet and young hotshot. So everyone knows what both of these characters are up to. Like John McClane is the old school badass cop. He's kind of a mixture of Riggs and Murtaugh, I think. And Tom Holland is just dynamic Spider-Man, like the Incredible Spider-Man.
So it's basically instead of Justin Long, you have someone who's
Yeah.
actually charismatic.
Exactly. So now you have this idea that John McClane is, having to work with a superhero who's just doing all this crazy shit, and then he's taking a back seat now. So it's a very different way that he approaches to how he does his crime shit.
And Paolo, how about you?
So I picked Shaft, played by Samuel L. Jackson.
Yes.
And I combined him with the Robert Downey Jr. Sherlock Holmes.
Oh,
So I got a double fish out of water situation.
Interesting.
Sort of like a nod of the capped Demolition Man, where both of them have been cryogenically frozen and thawed out in the present day, not the future, the present day.
Interesting.
So it to a certain extent it neutralizes Robert Downey Jr. or Sherlock Holmes's deduction, but he's still like brilliant at the same time.
Who's the dominant?
Huh?
That's-
So they're two
What?
type
What's so
A's.
funny?
Well, that's the problem. Like they're both very dominant characters.
Interesting.
I think Sherlock Holmes will be a little less dominant, just being so the dynamic
I'm
will
in
be
the 21st century.
he doesn't know what all these things are. Like he doesn't know
Yeah.
what cars are.
Wait, but Shaft, are you talking about Sam Jackson?
okay.
as
I'm
Shaft?
gonna go
Yeah.
into this with the segments, so
Yeah.
wrap it
Okay.
up.
Oh, okay.
We'll have a chance to do.
Okay.
that.
Okay.
Well, but yeah, that's who I
Because
got.
he's not fish out of water.
It is.
That was
Yeah,
Shaft.
that's a fish
like-
in the water.
No, Sam Jackson as Shaft. That was like regular time.
That
him
was
just
no.
being
That was like the
shafted.
7. Oh,
Okay,
No.
we'll
Yeah,
jump
yeah,
right
yeah.
into the
Alright.
first scenario. It is the first day that your two buddy cops are on the job with each other. So they've both been in the police force as long as you want to determine that they are. But it's the first day working together. They are on the LAPD, as all buddy cops are. First scenario, it's 9 to 11 a.m. Nothing big going on. You're just on patrol. What's going on with you guys?
Does anyone just start?
Just start.
Okay, so first of all, it's disastrous first day because Sherlock Holmes does not show up. He's at home taking some like absinthe or something. So Shaft has to, for once, be the mature one and pick him up from his house, and he's gonna give him a bunch of shit for not like being a proper cop, even though Sherlock Holmes is not a cop. But this is our first big conflict, and it really builds the scene or the picture of like, how are these two ever gonna coexist, and then it leaves you like wondering that, and like, where are we gonna go from there?
Same thing with these two. So it's the first day. We all know that Spider-Man is he's a keen intellect. So he's very on. I want to get jumping. I want to hit the ground running.
He's a keener.
Yeah, he's a super keener. So I see the dynamic being where John McClane's like, kid, just follow my lead. I'll show you the ropes. I'll get you. I'll teach you whatever. But Tom Holland is just annoying as fuck. And that's his dynamic in the entire relationship between them two, and it's just him getting on his nerves about learning the ins and outs of becoming LAPD.
He's Lou Getz, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And you know what? Also similar to that, I can picture Khal Drogo is
Yo, Khal Drogo as an LAPD. It's like Sheriff Shack, yo.
His badge is like someone's tongue.
a piece of intestine or something.
Yeah.
So he also, because he's punctual, he's Dothraki, he's serious, he's stern. So he shows up for work, and Aquaman, he's fucking at home, drinking like vodka straight out of the bottle, right? So Khal Drogo has to show up to bring him to work, but the problem is Khal Drogo speaks in Dothraki, and so he's trying to be like and Aquaman, I can just picture being like, "What the fuck are you saying?" Right? So he's, so that's the start. And then Aquaman, once he brings him on the job, once he drags him downtown, they're walking the beat. I can picture Aquaman with his trident and no shirt on, and he's just walking around saying, "Hey, you're hot, you're pretty hot," and as women are walking by, and Drogo just goes.
So
that's what I'm
Khal
picturing.
Drogo is the fucking Murtaugh?
Yes, absolutely.
So why are Dothraki punctual? I feel like that's
I know,
big
like,
assumption.
where are you getting this from? That's not a character trait of the Dothraki.
Well, compared to Aquaman, he's the straight fighter, or what the fuck am I trying to say?
He's the king of
He's
the
the straight
sea.
shooter. Thank you. Hey, but he's a lazy ass king of the sea.
Yeah,
Come on,
that's
everybody
true.
knows that.
Yeah.
I didn't peg him as lazy.
I don't know.
Laissez-faire.
Okay, what have we seen him in? We've seen him in
Khal Drogo?
Batman. Wait, what was it?
Justice League.
We've seen him in Justice League and
I think
Batman versus. Wait, sorry, Justice League. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
And when Bruce Wayne goes to recruit him, he's just talking drinking and you know what I mean. So he's
He's
totally the Murtaugh.
Thor of the fucking thing.
As opposed to Khal Drogo, who is just Mr.
Drogo
Serious.
is cold and calculating. All right, he would be there on time.
Are you talking about the book version of Drogo or the TV version?
I'm thinking of the book. No, actually, sorry, I am thinking of the TV because everybody knows the TV.
Wait, this isn't a movie character.
You approved it.
I forgot. You have 30 seconds to come up with a new character.
Yes!
Oh shit!
Dan had notes.
I had notes and everything. Everybody.
20 seconds.
How about we don't have anything?
Oh shit! I got nothing.
10 seconds. You have to pick somebody.
Who would be good with Aquaman?
Help me out, guys! Help me out,
Who would be
guys!
good with
Or
Aquaman?
they get to pick one for you.
Yeah, we'll work
Oh,
on this
shit.
together.
And you have to just-
Who would be
and
good
you
with
just have to do
Aquaman?
it.
We completely
Who would be good with
savaged.
Jason Momoa?
Annie from Annie.
Okay, that's who it is. Annie.
Annie. Wait, so Annie and Daddy Warbucks? That Annie?
Yeah.
All right. All right.
Okay. Second scenario.
Quick.
Fuck! I gotta tear this up. God damn it.
we have a candle over here, Dad. You want to just light that shit on fire? Yo?
Let's do it.
Second scenario. A 1037 has been called in. And of course, everyone knows what a 1037 is. A 1037 has been called in on the set of Avengers 4, where they are doing reshoots. I know your character is part of that. We're going to ignore it.
Okay.
So just assume there's a superhero movie being filmed in his universe.
Yeah.
But Tom Holland's been killed. Whatever. So essentially, they've been called in. 1037 is a suspicious vehicle has been spotted on the premises. Your cops have been called into the scene. They see individuals with automatic weapons outside the warehouse where they're doing the reshoots at. How does that scene unfold for you guys?
Well,
Well, Annie would ask them how they're doing, and she'd want to be friends, and she'd ask them if they have anything that needs cleaning, like their house needs cleaning or something. All right. And meanwhile, Aquaman would just be going like face palming and being like, "What the fuck is this shit?" Yeah.
I do not see them hanging out. And if they do, I'm questioning. Oh man, I'm questioning that relationship for sure. Oh, you guys. You want to go?
After you.
Okay. I feel like Tom Holland is guns blazing. He goes in, does his Spider-Man thing, and tries to disarm. While John McClane is like, "What are you doing, kid? Like, just hang back. Let's scope the scene out a little bit more." And then it's oh. Do I get to keep talking about the scenario? Well, like, what happens if they weren't
Assume what
suspicious?
happens next.
Okay, yeah, so they're not suspicious. So Tom Holland jumped the gun, and he started fighting these people who are essentially just extras. And John McClane's like, yeah, next time, hang back, do some recon before jumping in. And it's one of those, like, lessons.
Okay, so a question about this scenario. So you said there's like suspicious people in a car and
With
they
automatic
have
weapons.
automatic weapons.
Mm-hmm.
No other information.
No other information.
Okay, so naturally, so Sherlock Holmes is still like shocked that there's all these cars and like all this technology. There's planes flying overhead, so he's like trying to process all this information. Meanwhile, Shaft, he just walks right up to the car. He like pounds on the door. He breaks the driver's side window. What the fuck are y'all doing out here? Not realizing that this could be actually like some bad
Yo, what happens if they were
hombres.
terrorists, man? Fucking
So
Shaft.
these guys in their car with their automatic weapons are like shocked that someone just busted in their window, and
Holy shit.
they
that's
start
so funny.
like getting their stuff together. But Shaft pulls his hand cannon and sticks it right up the nose of the driver, but he's in like a predicament. Meanwhile, Sherlock in his genius, he's observed this car. He doesn't know how it works yet, but he realizes he looks at some evidence on the car, like there's dirt on the back of the car. These are unscrupulous people. He goes into that like bullet time mode where he's like
and you hear him narrating it out
his
loud.
voice, in his head.
Dirt on the car indicates this. Da 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 da.
Yeah.
Showing
Yeah.
random equations that have to do nothing.
So I kind of molded this. Side note, I molded this after like there was a Pete Holmes skit. It was like a TV Yeah. He did like where Sherlock Holmes is like a terrible investigator, and he's getting everything wrong. But this is not that.
So
but
his
yeah,
internal dialogue is just all wrong.
So while Shaft is like doing his thing with the driver, Sherlock he takes a rag he finds on the ground. He plugs the exhaust of the car, and then he gives Shaft the go ahead. Just get out of there. And then Shaft is like, he's got 4
Shaft
automatic
wouldn't
weapons.
listen.
No, he's got 4 automatic weapons pointed at him. So he's like, all right, I'm gonna play it cool. I'll let you guys off with a warning this time. So he backs away.
the car
and then-
blows up.
And then they start the car, and then it explodes. Because that's how cars work. No. Sherlock puts a banana in the
I was
exhaust.
gonna say that's the banana up the
Beverly Hills
exhaust.
Cop.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it dies, and while they're confused, they
Shaft pulls out his gun.
take down the rest of the terrorists.
Shaft.
So, despite your best efforts, these were actual terrorists. They were holding hostage the set of Avengers 4. A shootout has occurred. Most of the cast of Avengers has been killed, including Robert Downey Jr. and Samuel L. Jackson.
Wait, what?
Of course.
This is your
Tom
ultimate.
Holland.
This
Tom
his
Holland is
dream.
dead. Most of the cast who is not dead has run away. Elizabeth Olsen has been kidnapped by a yet unidentified bad guy. Remaining, you have Paul Rudd and Karen Gillan. How are you going to find out who the bad guy is and where Elizabeth Olsen is so that you can save her?
Wait, so Robert Downey Jr. and Samuel, like real Robert Downey Jr.
They're dead. Basically, what you need to know is you have an empty warehouse full of dead actors. You have Paul Rudd and Karen Gillan left. They may be in on the plot. They may be in danger. They may be know some information you don't know, but that's the information that you have. How are your detective cops gonna?
Okay, so Annie.
How is Annie gonna tackle
so
it?
Annie-
The sun will come out tomorrow.
So Annie, because her entire childhood was growing up like being basically like a cleaning slave type thing. She's
Girl.
So she's an expert at like looking at little stains on the ground, clean, and basically being like, just she used to scrub the floors and stuff, right? So she's able to just tell by looking at minute stains on the ground, dirt or whatever. She's able to follow that like breadcrumbs. Follow that to the fleeing suspects. All right? That's what's going on.
I have to give it to you, man. Like that. That's pretty solid. All right, Paul, you want to tackle this?
Yeah. Okay. So simple.
Sherlock.
Shaft, after having dealt with the thugs in the car, he comes in. He sees Paul Rudd and Karen Gillan. He doesn't know if they're in on it, so he just beats the shit out of them and handcuffs them together to a radiator in the warehouse. They can't go anywhere. They're dealt with. He'll come back to that later. If they weren't in on it, he'll get chewed out. He doesn't care because he doesn't give a shit about authority. Meanwhile, while Sherlock was analyzing the car, he noticed another one, a getaway van, in the back of the warehouse. So as he was getting once he planted his banana in the first car, he set a trap for the getaway van of the Elizabeth Olsen's kidnappers, and he's already hand-to-hand combating her kidnappers with his bullet
He's
time
not.
again.
Just FYI, that's the next segment.
Oh,
you're just
okay.
trying to find out where they are.
Okay, so he knows where they are. He's standing in front of the van, of the getaway van.
like this?
Yeah.
Hands on his...
Or he's like smoking a little
that's
cigarette.
right.
Yeah.
Okay, so in mine, this goes back into old school interrogation: good cop versus bad cop. So I would say that John McClane is actually going to be the good cop in this sense, and Peter Parker, always trying to get everyone's respects. He's going to try to actually go the bad cop route. He's going to string up both Karen Gillan and Paul Rudd upside down, and he's going to interrogate the fuck out of them and pretty much just beat them until they give all the information.
Does he activate interrogation mode on his suit?
Yes.
voice comes-
and it's
do
definitely
the
out of
voice.
character. But then at this point, this is when Bruce Willis comes in saying, and Bruce Willis comes in saying, "I don't think they know anything." So it's Peter Parker trying to go out of character, trying to be the mean person, and Bruce Willis saying, "No, you're wrong."
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so before the final segment, I'm going to give you a little bit of what I was looking for in the first 3 segments. As a reminder, we're talking about buddy cop movies. So for the second segment, where the 1037 was called in, what I was looking for was unnecessary property damage, because that's what happens in buddy cop movies. A blown up car is leading that segment. In the third one, with Paul Rudd and Karen Gillan around, I was looking for that stereotypical third character like Frank in Men in Black, Leo Getz in... It's like, how does you either seduce a damsel in distress, because that always happens, or have an annoying third character that you put up with to help get your information?
No, you just beat the shit out of him.
Just fight
String him up. Spider-Man strings him up in a web.
and then just beats them.
Leads us into our final segment here. We have found out that the perpetrators are the Olsen twins.
What?
Upset with Elizabeth Olsen's success, they have kidnapped her and are threatening to kill her. You have found out that they are at Disneyland, which is abandoned because they're having maintenance or whatever. So everything in the park is still there, but none of the people. You have the full cast of Full House, plus the Olsen twins, plus in the castle guarding Elizabeth Olsen are 2 clones of The Rock.
What the hell?
Now your buddy cops are tasked with having this great finale where they go in and save Elizabeth Olsen. How do they get it done?
All right, so Annie. So she distracts everybody with breaking out into song. All right, so she gets into one of her musical, numbers. I don't know what the fuck any of them are offhand, but because I don't have any of this planned. But she breaks it out into song and
It's
distracts
a hard
everybody.
No, I'm just gonna give you Khal Drogo back for the ending.
Not
Have Khal Drogo back.
And he
For
has
us.
transformed into Khal Drogo.
Yes, sure.
Wait, what? Well, now I'm doubly not okay. So wait. So I get Khal Drogo
You get
back.
Khal Drogo back for the finale.
All right. Andy's more entertaining. Come on. Now I'm.
Now he
Choose
wants
to
now
go
I'm
with
pro-
Andy if you want.
Yeah, actually, I'm
Khal
kind
Drogo
of.
could be your third character. Your third annoying character.
I'll allow this.
I don't know. Okay. All right. So Annie ropes Khal Drogo into helping her with the song.
Out of the
and
goodness
dance?
of his heart.
What?
Out of the goodness of his
Yeah,
heart.
because he's really a nice guy. Actually, he likes so Khal Drogo likes young
That's what we know
gals.
about Khal Drogo, just a nice guy.
So they distract everybody, especially the rock clones are particularly interested in the song. And meanwhile, Aquaman does his badass thing, and he I don't know, he kills some people with some trident action. And there's a water park and shit at Disneyland, right? So he summons the fish
through the water.
through the
It's
water
like
park.
Piranha Double D.
And and they take out all the bad guys that way.
Elizabeth Olsen is safe.
Exactly.
All right, I'll go. All right, so for some reason I see a Marvel movie meets Home Alone. So I see John McClane and Spider-Man going into Disneyland and just sneaking around, just like how John McClane did in franchise. What was it called again? Die Hard 1.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, he's crawling in
Yeah,
like
he's
the
crawling through the vents
the
and shit
vents
like
and
that.
shit.
And Spider-Man is being a sneaky fucking spider, just hanging in the ceilings, kind of scoping the place out. And pretty much it's a whole bunch of mini interactions with all these different thugs. So you see Spider-Man fighting like a whole bunch of people at once, and John McClane fighting one of the Rocks. That's one of the huge climax scenes where one of the Rock guys is like a lieutenant or something to the Olsens for some fucking reason.
Well, who better?
Yeah, exactly. So that's one of the scenes. Like, you know how the sub bosses fight like the sub lead.
Yeah,
Stuff
and that
like
was
that.
a big thing
Yeah.
in the Die Hard movies,
Yeah.
where he
So
take
you
down
have-
like the sub guy
It's
first.
definitely John McClane versus The Rock, 100%.
Yeah.
And the climax is actually when the Olsen twins are dropping Elizabeth Olsen, and Spider-Man has to do some fucking crazy Spider-Man shit and save her. Yeah, like just like Mary Jane, you know. And that's how. That's how
he
this-
actually
Elizabeth
saves
Olsen
her?
is yeah.
Yeah, he
Mary
saves her.
Jane.
Oh,
Does-
no, it's Gwen Stacy that dies.
Oh wait,
Oh, yeah,
does he
Gwen
does he kiss her? Does Spider-Man kiss her like upside down? Oh wait, that's Tobey Maguire. Oh.
Also, that's assault because he's just doing his job. He's not trying to kiss all these women. He's just working, man. Paolo.
Oh, okay. So when we last left Sherlock, he was standing in front of the getaway van, thinking he had gotten it all figured out, but like based on his like not lack of knowledge about today's world, the van basically just rammed him out of the way, and
Oh, no!
he's kind of like he's depressed because he's like, I had it all figured. I thought I knew it all, but I was really like not prepared for this. And then Shaft gives him like a tough love pep talk. He's like slapping him. He's like, like you think you're hot shit because you know everything, but guess what? This is the real world, and there's real shit going on. I don't know. He in true Shaft form, he gives him like some tough love, and then but like Sherlock Holmes is still like shell shocked. He's sitting on the ground, all depressed, sad with himself, and he's like takes out a flask and starts drinking, and then Shaft is like, right, you feel sorry for yourself. I'm gonna go to Disneyland and take care of these fools. So Shaft starts off on his own, just walking into the entrance of Disneyland. You got the cast of Full House up on the arches of the castle. Shaft takes them out, no problem. Like, just with his shotgun, he takes out the cast of Full House one by one. He comes
I
up.
forgot about the castle.
So did I.
He comes up to the castle where the two Rocks are the two
Guarding-
clones are guarding the door.
Damselins.
So he starts fighting because he's out of shotgun shells, but he's getting his ass kicked. He's beating them, like he puts up a good fight, but they're kicking his ass. And then, in the nick of time, Sherlock Holmes comes with his blunderbuss and snipes the.
He can have a normal weapon now. He's in
No,
modern
he doesn't know how to
times.
use them.
No, he knows how to use his musket.
That's right.
So
Single
his
load.
powder gun, he shoots one of the rocks. The other one, being distracted, gets a knee to the nuts and then a knife to the throat by Shaft, who's on his back. And then Shaft, he busts in through he gives Sherlock Holmes a nod, he tips his cap, and then he busts into the castle where he sees the Olsen twins. They're unarmed because they like banked so much on the clone rocks to stop them. So, but Shaft, he grabs both of them by like the scruff of their shirts, and he like gives them both a slap with one hand, a backhand slap in true Shaft fashion.
So good.
And they take the hit, and they're like, "Oh my god, I like that." So
What? And it turns into a fucking orgy?
He takes them
What? Aaron.
He takes them into Minnie Mouse's house, and he shuts the door. Meanwhile, Sherlock Holmes comes in, and he sees.
Wait, does he go in with them?
Yeah. Shaft is in Minnie Mouse's house.
I'm not part of this
with the
anymore.
Olsen twins. And then Sherlock Holmes comes in, and he sees this happen, and then he
He
works to
uses
free.
his powers of deduction.
Yeah, he works to free
figure out what's going on.
Elizabeth, and she's like, "Where did my sisters go?" And he's like, "I'm afraid your sisters are currently indisposed." Roll credits.
All right, that was surprisingly detailed. Did you know about this ahead
No,
of time?
I didn't.
Because that is
So
amazing.
I was gonna say final segment is give me a one-liner as they kill the Olsen twins. You can either stick with that one or whatnot, but you two give me a one-liner
all right.
as you always
So
have.
Drogo-
or when they kill one of the rocks.
Okay, so at the very end, when the Olsen twins are killed, Drogo says, and so by this point he's learned a bit of English. All right, he's learned the key words, the
By
important
the end
words.
of the movie.
Yeah,
the
he's-
Olsen.
he just kind of goes something
You
like,
can't give the punchline to the guy learning English.
"All right, yeah, sure you can." So he goes, "Don't fuck with Drogo." All right.
Boom.
Yeah.
Fuck with Drogo.
And Bruce Willis just says, "It's a full house, bitch," and that's it.
Paolo, are you sticking with the one you got, or are you changing it?
Yeah, and at the end when Shaft comes out of Minnie Mouse's house and he closes the door behind him, and in the background through the door you can see them like handcuffed together.
It's so fucked up. It's so fucked up.
God, dude.
And he's like, And he puts his glasses on, his sunglasses on.
Holy shit,
He strides
that's so
off.
good.
And you know the CSI Miami.
Strides off into the sunset.
Yeah.
Oh,
Holy
shit.
fuck. Yeah, Paolo wins that one.
I think so.
No, I was actually gonna give it to Aaron.
Yeah!
Because you had, like, as much as the tropes matter, the story and the characters matter. And you had an actual plan between how your characters interact. So I appreciated that. I'm gonna give that segment to you.
Yes!
Yeah.
Victory!
To end off the episode as we usually do, what is a movie coming out soon that you guys are looking forward to?
All right, so I'm defining soon as next May. That would be. I'm really looking forward to Rocket Man. Actually,
Ooh.
I think what's his name? Taron Egerton. Yes. So I didn't think too much of him after Kingsman. I thought he was okay, all that stuff. But then once I learned that he actually is doing all the singing, he's totally becoming Elton John. So to me, that's really interesting. That's really
tough.
cool.
That's
And
really
you
tough.
see the teaser trailer? That's him
Yeah,
singing.
yeah.
That's
pretty wild.
amazing.
Is
So-
he any good?
Yes, he sounds just like him, which is really cool. Anyway, I'm really looking forward to that. That's mine.
Detective Pikachu.
Why?
Of course.
Why?
Of course.
I'm Asian.
Because
I grew up with fucking Pokemon. It's just good to see Pokemon getting a live action movie.
That
That's
is pretty
much it.
cool.
Just the novelty on that alone, I'm down to see it.
I'm surprised with the production quality of that.
It looks really cool.
I heard about this movie for like a year and a half or so, and I was expecting like Batman Ninja level, but it's actually like it seems like they've put a lot of care into that.
I just wish that it wasn't Ryan Reynolds. I wish it was a more.
Really?
I
it
wish
seems
it was
like they're banking on the Deadpool voice.
Yeah,
It's like-
I wish it was something a little bit more of a random voice. Like imagine a Danny DeVito like voicing Pikachu. That would have been dope. No, like I would have loved that.
So Ryan Reynolds is too recognizable. He's too.
No,
like,
it's way too Deadpool. Like whenever I hear
Yeah.
his voice now, all I hear is Deadpool. So I can't associate Pikachu with Ryan Reynolds.
fair enough.
But I do like the guy from or the kid from the Get Down / Jurassic World 2. I don't know his name.
Oh, it's that guy.
Yeah,
I
it's that
didn't
guy.
Oh,
realize.
Yeah,
yeah, okay.
The guy who screams in Jurassic World.
Yeah,
2.
yeah.
Movie I'm looking forward to is Vice with Christian Bale. Same guy who did The Big Short, which is also the same guy who did Anchorman, directing it. Just looks really funny, really good, transformative performance by Christian Bale. 2018's been a little disappointing for me in terms of the best movies, and I think this is kind of the last chance I have for something being the best movie of the year for me. So yeah, looking forward to Vice.
I'm looking forward to my Shaft and Sherlock Holmes crossover.
It's not getting
personally.
picked up, bro.
That's bullshit. Let's hear a real movie.
I think that's gonna be an awesome R-rated movie
That's a G-rated movie.
where Shaft does the Olsen twins. Nah. No,
It's in Disneyland. Come on.
the re-release of Schindler's List. No.
Schindler's List 2 Electric Boogaloo.
Okay, honestly, there's not a lot coming out in December that I'm super excited for. I'm going to mention the Holmes and Watson movie with Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly.
Oh yeah,
which looks like complete shit.
it looks like trash.
It looks so
Those
bad.
two are good together, though.
They-
I have some
yeah.
hope.
They are
Step
good.
Brothers.
So as long as the trailer was just shit and the movie is actually good, which I'm pretty sure is not going to happen, I have some curiosity behind that one. That's Shaft and Sherlock Holmes.
We'll settle on that.
All right. Well, thanks for tuning in, everyone, and until next month, see you later.
Bye.
Bye.